What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to a brand new show on the channel. New book, Who Dis? I'm your host, Death Metal Hero, and with me, I've got Josh Plack. And he's got the book, How to Die. What's going on, Josh? How are you?
Doing good. I didn't realize until you said the title how perfectly metal of a title that is.
It's funny because it was a meme, like, new phone, Who Dis?
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know, it just popped into my head, and I was like, you know what, new book, Who Dis? Because it's introducing the new book, and the new creator. So yeah. But welcome, man, welcome. Let's see, we got Jay Mizzle in the house. Oi, oi, oi. And we got the leg kick. What's going on, brother? Welcome. Thanks for hanging out, guys. So let me go ahead and get this campaign up on so we can take a look at it. Because you got the mailing list going on, right?
Yeah, we actually already did an initial campaign. We had some kind of issues there, and so this is like a new start, starting from scratch.
All right.
There was an issue where the book just did not show up on Indiegogo's Discover page, like anywhere. So even if you sorted by the amount of money it had raised, nobody could find it. So yeah, it was weird. So this is just kind of like, we're going to start from scratch. We're going to build from the ground up, because in the first campaign, only my mailing list people could see it. So they were the only ones that backed it, and nobody else could find it.
Weird. All right. I signed up for the mailing list, by the way.
Appreciate it.
If you sent me the link for it, How to Die. I love the title too. Where did the title come from?
So my previous book, Eudaimonia, is World War One. I love history, and one of my favorite poems from the soldiers that served in World War One was a guy named Wilfred Owen, and he wrote this poem titled "How to Die." Very different context, but I just love the title so much, so I had to grab that.
Hell yeah, I like it. Yeah. I love things that pull from history. It adds I don't know, it adds verisimilitude to the world. It makes it feel more real. It fleshes it out. It gives it more character. Love it. Absolutely love it. So now I know you told me backstage, but what does eudaimonia mean? Your previous book.
Previous book, Eudaimonia. It's a World War One story. Eudaimonia basically means the good life, the life that is worth living. Eudaimonia was just kind of my first foray into making my own books. And it's a story about people serving and living through World War One, kind of struggling to kind of pull meaning from the madness of it.
Mm. Who did the artwork for these covers?
Are you talking about How to Die or Eudaimonia?
Eudaimonia, because I'm gonna toss that in as well so people can see what I'm.
Eudaimonia is Emi Utrera. How to Die is Bogdan Risteya. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right.
All right, and if I can do this without messing it up. Application window, Chrome tab. Yeah. Ta-da! There we go. Hey, I'm proud of myself. I'll take the the small victories in life, man. So this is the sign up page, and what is this looming creature here? I am intrigued by this.
Okay, so How to Die, the first issue is called Birth of the Black Ice.
Okay.
The basic idea is it's a story in which you have the rise of a villain and the fall of a hero. The Black Ice is a creature that basically skims humanity for the lowest dregs that are hanging from the ladder of it. He's an evolved creature that can basically takes the form of black ice. So definitely inspired by Glacius from Killer Instinct, if anybody out there ever played that. And yeah, so he has stretch abilities. he can basically control the density of every molecule in his body and take on any form. And this is the kind of preternatural monster that he became.
Wow, very cool. I dig it. Kind of like if Iceman just went feral or something like that. That's how I always kind of pictured Glacius.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Which I mean, I guess they did some of that. Well, that's. Oh. Cat fight. I know
It
what that
is a
sounds
cat
like.
fight.
How many cats do you have?
It's two, and okay. So I'm wearing my Between the Buried shirt. My one cat is named Bitabam, and he's definitely the aggressor.
Nice. I've got three. One is sleeping right over there. There's another one over in the window, and there's another one out in the living room. They're usually pretty good about not picking on each other.
No, it's only when you're on screen.
Huh? Yeah, of
Only
course.
when you're
Yeah, no, Grace will actually like jump up into my lap and like sink her claws like right into my thigh so she doesn't fall off, and then look at me with that cute little innocent face and those big eyes and like, aren't I cute? And like, yes, I'm bleeding, but yes, you're adorable. Yeah. Let's see. Leg Kick says nowadays, if you want good books, you pretty much have to do it yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? We've gotten some really good stuff out of it. This whole indie scene that we've got going on. Just I don't know. Steel sharpens steel. Rising tide lifts all boats. All those cliche things, but it's true.
Yeah, it's freeing.
Yeah.
To be able to have people that can make what they want. We can break all of the rules if we have good characterization, good stories, and solid art. We're going to make something.
Yep, absolutely. And that's really all anybody's looking for. Like, we're looking for good escapism. We're looking for good stories, solid characters that make us feel something, take us on an adventure. You can teach us something, but take us on an adventure while you do it.
Yeah.
So is this going to be like an anthology book, or are we following your ice creature?
So this is the first issue. It's the Birth of the Black Ice. There's also the White Bishop. His story is kind of in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
And the next issue will throw in the Gray Queen. So there's kind of a chess motif going on.
Okay. All right. An ancient horror awakens, born from man's depravity. Like it. Jump on the mailing list, y'all.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend it because mailing lists backers get. There's going to be a sketch card.
Ooh.
They're going to get gold signatures instead of silver signatures. There's going to be like raffles for. We don't have it all ironed out yet, but the mailing list is definitely the way to go.
Hell yeah! I mean, if nothing else, just so you're when it's coming out, so you can plan. I mean there's so many good campaigns around that if I don't sign up for the mailing list, I will lose track and then I will miss out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's definitely worth it to sign up for the mailing list. I love this this sketch piece right here. Is this another form of the what did you call the creature?
The Black Ice. That's kind of an
just
earlier.
Black Ice. Okay.
The earlier design.
Yeah.
You'll see that. You'll see him looking like that earlier in the story before he really becomes his true self.
Okay.
When he's still kind of figuring things out.
Okay. Interesting. So, I mean, he's kind of horrific looking. Does this story have kind of like a horror bend to it? Is it?
Yeah, I would say it's God, what is it? Like the Max. You know how the Max, there's a lot of horror elements, but you wouldn't really say the story itself is horror.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
It's just grim and it's dark.
Okay, with like supernatural elements.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, what I did is I conceived the story a long time ago. I kind of went back to the drawing board on the idea of evolution, because there's a lot. I mean, it's something that's been done a lot. But what never made a lot of sense to me is what's the reason for evolution? Like, if you actually study evolutionary biology, it comes out of a need for something.
Yeah.
So, you know, a bird needs to develop a longer beak in order to reach the deepest part of the flower. What is the actual reason for, like, some of the X-Men to have evolved the way they did? Like, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Like,
that always made me think too. Yeah.
what do they need? Like, we live in a time where, like, food is more accessible, there's less conflict, there's less danger, we're not being hunted by anything. And so the kind of answer I came up with is that without really any struggle, that's where evolution would come from. Like, people not having a purpose for anything, they would kind of need to invent it themselves. And so the evolution is born out of the kind of listless people drifting through life.
Okay.
You just develop these really negative tendencies. And when it kind of builds and reaches its precipice, they evolve the ability to survive in order to develop that sense of purpose in their life.
Interesting.
Sorry, I know that was long-winded.
No, I mean it's kind of hard. It's kind of a hard concept to get across in just like a little sound bite. So
yeah, right. So like it's basically a nightmare for pitches. Tell me what your book's about. Well, why don't you have a seat? Can I have a couple hours of your time?
Well, if you got about 10 to 15 minutes here, let me tell you. I'm trying to think of how to make that bite size. Alternate evolution based on the need for purpose.
Yeah.
I mean, something like that.
Yeah.
No, it's a cool concept though. I dig it. I'm curious to see. So that's where Black Ice comes from. Is this?
Yeah, the Black Ice comes from a. So if you scroll down a little bit,
yeah,
that's actually him as a child. So he comes from a family of people who have kind of taken it upon themselves to thin the herd of humanity for the betterment of all. So that's what he grows up in. So when he emerges in this kind of excruciatingly painful upbringing, he develops his powers in the midst of a hunt. So he becomes this superpowered hunting creature called the Black Ice.
Okay. Dig it. So it's kind of triggered almost like mutant powers would be in the X-Men, like at a certain age.
The only caveat is you have to be facing death.
Okay.
And you have to save yourself with that power.
So the stressful situation.
Yeah. So his power is he's become so hardened by everything that when he's confronted by death, he changes his own body chemistry.
Huh. All right. So since there's the negative, the dark, is there converse? Is there a light? Is there somebody changed by positivity?
The protagonist of the book is Bishop. He's a guy who is drifting kind of aimlessly through life.
Yeah.
He works at a video store. He eats takeout. He screws, and his world starts to crumble a little bit.
Yeah.
And he makes the decision that rather than try and avert failure, to steer into it and kind of accelerate the process of his own failure.
Okay.
Because the idea is basically that anything would be better than what he's currently doing, just kind of drifting through life. And so his kind of descent into failure puts him in the crosshairs of the Black Ice. And so the first book ends with that first intersection.
Huh. Cool. So how big are you thinking the book is going to be? Do you
first issue is just going to be 28 pages.
Okay.
previous books were kind of like mini graphic novels, but I want to get in the habit of not being in between anymore. I want to do one or the other. So this is just, yeah, slightly extended floppy.
Sure. Yeah. Like a rather thick floppy issue.
Yeah.
Which is cool. How many are you planning in the series?
4 issues written, basically setting up these 3 characters in the universe. The 4th issue, though, is going to have 3 different endings with 3 different covers. So you're going to get either the Black Ice ending, the Bishop ending, or the Gray Queen ending. So it's kind of like Clue, the movie Clue, you know, that had different endings to it.
Right. So that'll make an interesting place to pick up from.
Yeah. It's basically it culminates in a single event that, given the different powers at play, can be interpreted different ways. So seeing it through each perspective will yield a completely different ending. Because once you start throwing in psychic powers, now everything's on the table. Is what you're seeing real? Is it not real?
Because then you can really play with reality.
Yeah.
Very cool. I love stuff like that. Because skits comic, there are three variations on that, and you've got different story beats that show up and whatnot. Carla and John with White Cat Comics, they're new, and they've got two or three different alternating ones. So I love seeing this kind of stuff show up, because with the unique environment that we've got, this unique community that we've got, we can do stuff like that. We have the opportunity to, because with crowdfunding, I mean, the more people jump onto it, the more stretch goals that we get, the more worth it becomes. The initial buy-in price, it may be a little steep, but the more people that pick up the book, not only does it get made, but we get these awesome stretch goals, so it makes it more worth it. And plus, these are limited print runs. They are the first printing. This is the first appearance of a lot of these characters. So I mean, you've seen what some of the older books go for. So I mean, it's supply and demand.
Well, here we were talking about that for the show. Let me show you what I did for Eudaimonia. So this is my copy. I'll try and hold it up so you can see. If you look down in the bottom left-hand corner, that right there, only the people who got on the first campaign got it with that little gold first edition.
Nice.
So I was just really big on. So when I did a second campaign, we did a second run. Sorry, those people they didn't get the real deal. They didn't get that first edition.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing. That's these limited print runs. You jump on it. The first one, you're there at the ground level. You deserve to have the OG shit. And if you missed it, but you still want to read it, then you can get the second printing.
Yep.
I mean, I think that's part of the reason why Malin, cuts his off. Like, he doesn't go in demand. Like, you have this amount of time to get this stuff. If you don't get it, then, maybe better luck next time. Or, as Ethan's doing it, you can maybe buy it later, but you're going to pay like a premium price for it on eBay. Since he's had so many people flipping them anyway, might as well sell them himself. So I mean, it is a creator's market, but the reason why it's a creator's market is because we love and appreciate our fans. Because without them, we don't have a place to sell the books. We don't have people to enjoy the books, to read them.
Yeah, we want to get weird and wild.
Exactly. Like, I mean, you can make vanity projects and you can put them out, but is that? I mean, okay, fine. You're satisfying that creative urge, which yes, I'm gonna do my book regardless. But to be able to share it with a bunch of other people that would dig it too, and then to be able to make a living doing that, so that you can continue to tell these stories, that doesn't sound like such a bad thing to hope for, to strive for, even. It
also makes you appreciate. Like, I don't have a big audience. Eudaimonia was more successful than I could have imagined, and I think I had maybe 120 some backers. But A, it makes you appreciate those people all the more, that somebody was willing to put their money and support this thing that you're trying to make. And it also makes you appreciate yourself a little bit more because it's something that you made. You didn't just make the product, you made people believe in it. You got them to enjoy it enough to order the second book.
Yeah.
It's like the ultimate shot in the arm, even if it isn't, changing the world or anything.
I mean, it's changing the world for people that buy the book.
Yeah.
It's adding to their zeitgeist, adding to their collection. What's up, Curious Comics? Good to see you. Got to learn the elevator pitch. I still haven't wrote mine either. Yeah, we all got to work on our elevator pitch, man. That's always the thing. Being able to get the idea across succinctly and to the point. Because as writers, we can pontificate along, and we can add this flowery word here, and we can expound upon it there, and really, sometimes you got to be like, yeah, do I need to? Do I really need to? Can I say this more simply?
Yeah, it'll get easier. Like I love this. I love How to Die. I'm like so excited for people to get their hands on this book. But what I have coming next, like I haven't even finished writing it yet, and I'm just like over the moon excited for it. And it's got an elevator pitch in less than 10 seconds.
See, there you go.
Detective noir in 1920s Harlem.
See, look at you. There you go.
And no, wait. Are you ready for the title?
Huh.
Noirlem.
All right. I dig it. That's going to be fun.
Well, the extended title is Noirlem, The Adventures of Detective Coleman Carmichael, subtitle, Truth Be Our Masters.
Yeah, just stick with Noirlem. Yeah. Oh, man. What up, fellas? Just jamming and listening to your show. I like the art on this book. Yeah, absolutely. Is this all digital, or does he work traditional?
This is digital. It's like a night and day contrast between this and Eudaimonia. Eudaimonia, everybody was talking about the color, but in between books, I read A History of Violence,
Ooh.
And even though that book kind of sucks, the art is kind of amazing. Like just how
really? I've never read it.
It's trash. Like it's some of the worst writing.
How the hell did it get turned into a movie then?
That's kind of par for the course. Like, look, this is how bad it is, right? On the cover of the book, there's a silhouette of a cheerleader, like a high school cheerleader.
Right.
Never appears in the book. There is no cheerleader even in the book. It's about a guy who like rob his diner, and he like super kung fu beats the crap out of him. Never explained how he got those powers or anything. But anyway, the art is like fantastic.
Don't explain why he's John Wick.
Yeah, he's like, imagine if John Wick, but they never explained anything. They showed you his backstory, and it still doesn't explain anything.
Well, that doesn't do much, does it?
His backstory is, as a kid, he and his buddy shot a mobster and ran away. That's the whole story. Like, you'd think he was like a super Navy SEAL or something.
I didn't watch the movie either, but I like Viggo Mortensen, so I thought about it and I was like, oh, that looks cool. Check that out.
I mean, if you find it cheap, get it for the art. The it's incredible what they're able to do with black and white. And it kind of inspired me to be like, wow, if you're going to tell a dark tale, black and white is kind of the way to go.
It's simple, it's stark, it gets the point across.
And here's the other thing. When you print books and you're paying for the outside and the inside cover, that can be in color. So the last page of the book, like the big culmination, that's going to be in color. So my readers are going to pick up this book, they're going to go through it in black and white, and it's going to lull them into this sense of like, okay, this is black and white. And then they're going to turn the page, and that last page, man, is going to pop. It's going to explode out.
Nice. See, and that's another thing about this scene. We can experiment with like printing different ways. You
Yeah,
know, doing
GarageBand.
yeah, exactly. Like DIY as fuck up in this motherfucker, right? You know, trying different things. I mean, some things, some things may not work, but like cards, for instance. I remember back in the day, I used to collect the cards. I was telling you about the binders I have. Um, the bottom of the card market just dropped out at the beginning of the 2000s, and it almost feels like we're resurrecting like a I don't know, like at least comic cards. I know that they still do the Marvel masterpieces, but they went from being like, oh, you can get a box of Marvel Masterpiece cards for like $100 to now like, yeah, it's gonna be like $225, $250 to get these cards. I was like, whoa, how about I'll just, where is it? Where's that book? I'll just go ahead and I'll buy the book of Joe Jusko's artwork. That way I can see it all nice and big and see like, sketches and stuff. And you can keep the cards.
Well, cards like never they came back and they haven't really gone away. I don't follow anymore, but I'm honestly surprised that comics haven't taken some of the lessons from like sports cards are a really good example. Like imagine if you were going to the comic book store, you pick up a book, and there was a chance that when you open it up, the inside cover is signed. Or there's a chance that there's going to be a little card that you can redeem and get like some original artwork. That's what's kind of kept sports cards going is the memorabilia cards, the signatures, like having something that turns the process of buying it into like it basically scratches that gambler's itch a little bit.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. You'd have to steal the comics.
You have to steal the comics, yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to steal the comics.
But then you could sell those sealed comics for a higher price.
True, because there's a possibility of, yeah, that's not a bad idea, actually. Just do a premium version of it.
Well, look, this is how much of a shyster I am. The first edition stamp on here, that is literally that's the same exact stamp as the first edition on Pokemon cards. I just made it gold.
Nice. Dude, the foil. I mean, I remember. Oh. See, and that's another thing. Like, DC tried to do like some kind of foil cover, and they looked okay, but it doesn't pop like Chromium used to. You know? But again,
I don't think those don't create a sense of urgency anyway. I don't think. I think it's window dressing.
It is. I don't know. Getting people to be excited about the books they're picking up, I have found, working in the comic shop, I found it's kind of difficult sometimes. Like I do have some people that are excited about certain books that they're picking up. I have a lot of people that say that they're picking up stuff just because they've been picking it up for, yada yada yada. Have them all, just gonna keep getting them, and I want people to be excited about the books that they're reading. I want people to be excited that they're going to get this stuff. They're spending their hard-earned money on something, and they're excited about that product, that prospect, that story, that adventure. Like that's how.
I would say what's kind of missing is not just the excitement for picking up a book, but the excitement for discovery. Like, what am I going to find at the shop this week? Am I going to pick that thing up that I took a chance on, took it home, and ended up loving it? I know I don't get excited, when I go and I pick up the latest purple-haired whatever.
You know what another part of it is? Event fatigue. I wish that they could just go back to, tell your own stories, and like we don't need to have an event. Like if you want to have an event, have one a year. Like we had one Avengers movie a year, and
The event should be in the story. It should be
Yeah,
something that was written.
yeah. I'm just these line wide crossovers that, oh, yeah, at Empire there's fucking, what is it, 30 some odd tie-ins, maybe more, and it's like, yeah, no, 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 I don't care anymore, and how how can you expect to keep selling books at like $3.99, sometimes $4.99? You want to sell the regular series, but oh, we've got this event and we've got all these different spin-off series that you need to pick up so you get the entire purview of this line-wide event. Like, you can't keep doing that and expect people to keep picking it all up. Like, it's flooding the market. Stop it. Like, cut it out. Like, all it's doing is sitting in the back of my shop, taking up space. Like, and then it goes in the 50-cent bin when I run out of room. Like, stop it. So, the lady that runs my shop, she's actually very savvy. So she's been doing this for 34 years. So she knows how to get things into, because if I don't get to the shop, or if I don't say that I want something, it will not be there. Like,
Mm.
you either tell her that you want it, or you're gonna ask for it later and hope that you can get it. Like, tell her ahead of time so she can order it, make sure she has it, because otherwise it may not be there by the time you get there. Like, I work there, and it may not be there by the time I get there on Friday. You know,
Oh man, sorry, I'm flashing back to working at the record store. That was like my
right?
favorite part, was helping people find new things, and sometimes having to compete with my own customers. Like I'll never forget it. This guy came in and he's like, "Hey, can you look up and see if you?" Because we had like a chain of like 12 different stores around Baltimore,
Sure.
and he'd be like, "Hey man, can you see if there's a vinyl of Mastodon Blood Mountain?" And
Nice.
I'm like, "Nah, there's no there. We don't have that." And I looked it up and there was one. I was like, "Shit,
But I want
there
that.
is," and I want it really bad.
Yeah.
Then I'd have to order it for him and hope he never showed up again.
Right. Yeah, I'll be here in a couple of days, or
Oh
weeks, or
man,
whatever. I don't know, man.
van
It
drove off
got
the
lost.
bridge. I don't know what happened to it.
Um, yeah. Well, I mean, the funny thing is that oftentimes people will be like, "Oh, I'll come back for it," and they'll say that a couple of times. Like, I don't know, if sometimes if you see it in the wild, you kind of have to just buy it in the wild. Um, I always try to wait until the end of the day. And if I'm working Friday and Saturday, I will wait until the end of Saturday, just to give the customers a chance to come in and find the stuff and buy it. And then if they don't, then it's coming home with me. If it's something I really want, you know, every so often there's something that, like, this Wills Portacio book that I've been looking for eons. I found it in a new acquisitions box, and I had to snag it right then and there. I couldn't help myself. It was like early Marvel, and I can never remember the title of it. But anyway, it's, oh shit, we lost him. I thought he wasn't saying anything because that was boring. Anyway, guys, go jump on the mailing list for How to Die: Birth of the Black Ice. It looks like it's going to be a fun story. Looks like it's. I mean, you can see the artwork. It looks like it's great artwork. I love this. There's so much movement in this right here, and I kind of want to see this in action. So yeah, this looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I like this. I love the overlays. It has like a subtitle as you scroll over it. So yeah, the link is in the chat. What's going on, Ichthy? Good to see you, homie. Don't know what happened to Josh, but we'll keep rolling. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and he sent me this page. Here, maybe I can show that. Open image in a new tab. And open image in a new tab. There we go. Alright, so go ahead and show. Stop this one. Hey. And then share. Chrome tab. And share. Yeah, so here we can see the black ice. I think you made the right decision going black and white with this one. I think this will work out well. Hey, there you are.
Turns out if you just unplug your laptop and try to stream off of it for a while, it turns off.
Man, you have no idea how many times I've been there myself. Yep. Ask the next time you talk to Shay from Red Valkyrie. Ask her about my disappearing act with the dying laptop.
I think I did that on. Damn, what's that guy's name? I forget. Ickery Press.
Oh, Akari Press, Antonio.
Yeah, Antonio. I was on his show.
Antonio's good peeps. I like him.
My mic. I don't stream on my computer. I have to stream on my wife because my mic just does not play nice with it. And I discovered that on his show, just dipped out right in the middle of it. And then in turn, he never linked my project. So we kind of, it was like, we just completely wasted each other's time for like an hour and a half.
Oh, no. Oh, hell. Yeah, this is why I always get links ahead of time. Get links and pictures and stuff.
But yeah, Shay's awesome. I love Shay.
Yeah, she's my homie. She's my homie. All right, so yeah, I was just taking a look at the some of the artwork you sent me on Twitter. This looks great, man. And I was saying that black and white definitely the way to go. There's a lot of good lighting here. You know, this right here I really like.
I'm trying to find some more that I didn't send you. But like I said, I'm on my wife, so.
Yeah. And I'm just going to bring up this page. This one. There we go. Yeah, this book's gonna have a unique feel. I dig it, man. Was at the shop earlier when you sent these, so I didn't get a chance to actually look at them. And now I have my secondary monitor with a big TV, so I can actually scroll in and see them.
Yes, this first page is like one of my favorite pages in the book. It's just kind of.
So this is the first. Oh, okay. Wow. This is how it opens up.
Yeah, kind of evoking that father-son kind of thing. So it's supposed to basically mirror if anybody ever went hunting with their father. You know, you wake up, it's still dark out. You stop at like a gas station. He gets a coffee. You get a chocolate milk. You know, then when like this kind of the kind of moment of like good and innocent.
Right.
Before it just goes completely to shit.
Yeah. Definitely looks early morning. And this is very foreboding. Love the poster of the crow in the background. That's great.
Yeah, there's a scene. The guy who works at the video store. There's a scene later where my dude just took like a half dozen awesome 80s, 90s action movie posters and just threw them in the background.
Nice.
So like Demolition Man, Cobra.
Oh yeah, you know. Back when action movies were action movies, the 80s and 90s. Back when they actually had to use practical effects to make things look right.
Yeah, now it's just what's his name? Guillermo del Toro, keeping the
He
art
still
alive.
does some great
He
stuff.
still
Like
does, but I mean, the amount of work he does put into practical effects is impressive.
oh yeah. Um, what was it that he most recently worked on that I saw? It was the what scary stories to tell in the dark.
Oh, I
The
didn't see
first one
that.
of that. That was actually really good. It was decently like creepy, scary, whatever you want to say, for a PG-13 horror movie. I was surprised. Um, but then I found out that Guillermo del Toro helped with the script and, helped the movie along quite a bit. I was like, that's why it works.
Mm.
Not that they didn't have other talented people working on it, but, they started with a good base, I guess. Yeah, so it was good. I normally avoid PG-13 horror movies, but I really enjoyed that book series when I was a kid, or those stories, I should say, those series of stories. I really enjoyed them when I was a kid, so I wanted to see what they did with it, and it was pretty good. It was pretty good. They only did about half the story, so they're gonna do another one, apparently.
I just messaged you another page on Twitter.
Sweet. See what we got.
It's probably another one of my favorites. Also, mild spoilers for the story.
Ooh, mild spoilers. Um, oh, here was another image that you sent me that I didn't. Um, I'm not seeing it on Twitter. The last thing I see on Twitter was you telling me that you were backstage.
All right, well, another time. Oh, it didn't come from me. It came from my wife's account.
Oh, okay. Then that means I will have to go. Message request. There we go. All right. Exit. Here we go. Ooh. All right. Open a new tab. Yeah. And stop. All right. Chrome tab. That one. Yes. There we go. Wow. That's wow. It's pretty stark. And again, I think the black and white really works well for the mood that it looks like the story is trying to evoke. Because I'm looking at this and I know that talented colorists could absolutely do some awesome stuff with this, but the artwork just works as black and white.
Yeah, I thought about playing around with like adding some touches of color, but then I think we're kind of straying, into like Sin City territory.
Sure, I mean there are worse things to evoke than Sin City. Like I mean, you could totally do like a red hint here, just a spray of red coming up, and then like little bits of red on the window there, something like that.
Hmm.
Spot color. Um, I don't know. It all depends on how you want to highlight the book. Because at
Yeah.
that point, That's all it is. It's highlighting certain things, drawing the eye here, moving the eye there. But it, like I said, it works in black and white. What did you say the artist's name was again?
Bogdan Mistea. He's Italian, I think.
Very cool. And he's over in Italy.
He's what?
Yeah, over in Italy. You said?
I think so.
That's awesome. See? Beauty of the internet, man.
I've yet to hire an American artist. Actually, first book, artist is Argentinian.
Uh-huh.
I think the second cover was done by, I think the guy's French. Like, it's not intentional. I'm not avoiding hiring American artists.
Well, of
just
course not. You're looking for the best artists that can work for the budget you've got.
Yeah.
That's the way this goes. Absolutely.
Yeah, next book, I'll outsource it to China.
Now that just sounds intentional. No, this is great, man. I'm excited. And you said that you've got something after this that you're very excited about. What is? Do you want to give a little hint as to? Well, actually, you already did the Noirlum.
Yeah.
What? When do you think? When are you thinking for that one? What's your timeline for that one?
I'm thinking that one's probably not going to be mid 2021.
Mm-hmm.
I would say people watching this sign up for the mailing list because we're still like months away from like a full relaunch.
Mm-hmm.
After that, yeah, we move on to Noirlum. Probably going to go with a different artist because I'd like to, keep things. I want to keep changing it up. I want to have different art styles for my books.
Sure.
After that, I move on to Snowfall and the Street Lamps. It's going to be a series of like short stories in like just a collection of short stories.
Right.
The thinking behind that is going to be having a different artist for each story. That's going to be kind of getting away from any particular genre and just telling a bunch of just little, almost like like vignettes, like just a bunch of little stories, kind of held together.
That's cool. Vignettes are fun, little anthologies. With, sometimes with a through line for stories, sometimes without. Those are always fun.
Yeah, the original working title was just going to call it Street Stories. I was homeless as a teenager, and so that kind of that kind of informed a lot of my writing and how I kind of see the world. So
sure,
the kind of theme throughout is basically going to be people struggling with either homelessness or something kind of approaching that. So if you want to look at it as like, horror, it's kind of like a horror.
it's kind of horrific. It sounds like a very human story. You know? And that's the beauty of our medium. You can tell very human stories.
Yeah,
I have people come into the shop and they're like, "Oh, well, do you read books?" I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm more of like the sci-fi fantasy. Give me a supernatural edge to that thriller, or
See, what I always say is like even superhero stories, what I personally always enjoyed about them isn't for what made them superhuman, but what made them human.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So like, when I read Spider-Man, I read about a teenager kind of figuring out his place in the world, what it means to be responsible for yourself and others. Like there's a really great book, not a great guy, but a really great book. I can't remember. He's a comic studies professor. This is a great book he made called "Do Gods Wear Capes?" It kind of explores like the ways in which comic books speak to us, speak to mankind and the kind of struggles. Yeah, it's really good. I definitely recommend it if you're into going beyond the page. It's good.
Oh yeah, I mean, I feel like it's a good thing to research stuff like that. I have this book here, "Superhero: The Secret Origins of a Genre" by Peter Coogan.
Okay, yeah.
It's been a long while since I've read this, but this was really good too. Yeah, just and Scott McCloud, reinventing comics, understanding comics. Like, that stuff is good for us to dive into, so we can better, I don't know, use the tools at hand in our media.
Yeah, yeah.
So we can better tell our stories.
For storytelling, it's like it's the same thing as like you're a kid and you take something apart to learn how to put it back together.
Yeah.
And understand how it works. So yeah, definitely.
That's why I can rebuild computers now. Like I had a tower that I would take it apart and I'd turn it back on. Like, oh shit, I got to put that back the way it was.
Yeah, like when I got kicked out of the stream, I had to figure out how to turn the computer back on.
Yeah, technology's great when it works, man. When it works, it's great. But when it's not, it's it's irritating. Just a wee little bit. Yeah, I had a dual boot MacBook that was working great, and then all of a sudden the logic board and the graphics chip died. So it's an old MacBook. So I can't. There's nothing I can do about it. So now I'm working on a newer laptop, but it doesn't have the internal graphics chip that I was used to working with. Mm. So running some of my graphics programs is a little clunky right now. Yeah. And
I've actually written the book I'm working on now, and this one, How to Die. Mm-hmm. I actually wrote it without a working A key from playing computer games. So it's just a coincidence that How to Die doesn't have the letter A in the title. You will find, I can promise that you will find the letter A in this book. Uh-huh. I just have to write by copy pasting the letter A every time I want to type it.
Oh my God. Wow. I
never get around
to it. Maddening.
Yeah, because it's like you can't just go to Best Buy and have them put another A key on because it's in the keyboard. You know what I mean? I don't know how to fix it, but
it's the.
I'll get around to it one of these days. Yeah. Plus, it's an issue of like, do I get it fixed or do I just get a new computer?
Well, actually, you said it's a laptop, right? They should be able to just replace the entire keyboard tray. Board and all for the
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to come on your show for free consultations on tech support.
Don't even worry about it, dude. They're like I don't know, electric puzzles to me. So I'm always, I don't know, trying to figure out how I can fix them. Like, because one of the things that I do is take old hardware and make it run better, so people don't necessarily have to buy new machines. Because sometimes new computers are fucking expensive.
Yeah,
you can't afford that shit. But sometimes you got to get to a point and you're like, yep, need to replace it. It's just like my mom's computer. I just had to order her a new one, just because it's just running too slow and it's wasting my time while I'm there. Yeah. Trying to fix the problems. I'm just like, nope, done. So, ordered her a new one that should be getting there. So I mean, every so often, like I said, technology's great when it works.
Yeah.
When it doesn't, you kick it. Well, I mean, sometimes. All right. Well, we've been going for about an hour now. Is there? Does anybody in the chat have any questions? I figured you guys.
I do know everything. So if you need, not just about the book, but literally anything, I know everything. So.
Oh, the meaning of life. 42.
Eudaimonia.
Eudaimonia. Yeah, that very good. Yeah. So that's what we should all strive for. Almost that nirvana.
Yeah, that was an amazing process because that book was like, it was like a piece of me, something that had to get out, had to get made, and the response to it was just the fact that I could actually get people to read verse poetry in a comic book was like that's one of my greatest personal achievements.
This is also, the link for this is also in the chat, guys. If you want to go check it out, let's go ahead and play this trailer. That was cool, watching the cover process. unique art style in this book too. Almost I don't know, Mignola meets Sienkiewicz, if that makes sense. Cellos are so fucking cool. Seriously, I love cellos. Like the stand up bass, they're great. Well, that's awesome. What now? What was the story? An American soldier drags himself to World War One's end and is met by the surreal.
Yeah, so the first book was about a soldier. Basically, the book centers around this kind of encounter that he has where he's like 15 years old. And if you don't know, America did have 15-year-olds fighting in the war. He basically he can't handle it. He's in the trenches. He freezes. He can't move, and he gets left behind.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's in the trench, and a set of footprints hit the ground next to him of a 15-year-old German in the exact same position. And now you have this absurd moment. You think about just how ridiculous it is. These are kids in a trench, and they're enemies. And that doesn't make any sense. And so he has this traumatic experience, and he ends up surviving. He kind of crawls through the mud and the corpses through the night, and he gets back to the French town, and he finds the rest of his company. And they're celebrating. The war's over. And they give him a first beer for a first kill. And he just kind of wanders through the streets, and he sees this girl playing on a cello. And so the book is basically from there on, it's his story of having this moment and this song just kind of stuck in his head. And him slowly pulling that out of himself and recreating that song that's just kind of embedded in his soul. And that's really the whole first book. And then the second book goes into the lore a little bit more. It's more about the girl with the cello, her story, the story of the German boy, and everything kind of circles back in on itself. You know, as I tend to enjoy with good storytelling.
Yeah.
And it was a wonderful thing. And not to toot my own horn, but the artist did wonderful work. If you find his work elsewhere, it isn't anywhere near the bar he did for my book. And so I'd like to think that as a storyteller, my talent is getting the most out of people who work with me. So the guy doing this book right now, How to Die, he says his girlfriend told him this is the best work he's ever done. And so I'd like to think that,
awesome.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm good at. I can write things that when people come on board, it pushes them a little bit further and it gets a little bit more out of them.
And they get excited about the project. They're passionate about it. You know, they want to put that much effort into it to bring their game up to the next level. Like I said
or maybe
earlier,
I'm just writing
steel
such
sharpens
weird
steel.
things that they feel they can just go completely off the rails and just start really pushing the envelope artistically.
That freedom is it's refreshing, man. It's absolutely
Weird and wild.
refreshing. Yeah. I'm excited about this book. I can't wait to see what you got, man. I missed out on Eudaimonia. I remember Shay was doing the show. And I remember seeing the cover with the colors and whatnot for the thumbnail. But yeah, I missed out on the book. But I'm looking forward to this one. I'm going to be in on this one.
Yep, there's going to be a first edition bundle on the new campaign.
Yeah.
It's going to be pricey, but there's also going to be a digital bundle where you can just, if you want to check out everything,
Right.
to check it out. It's going to be there. It's going to be cheap. You're going to get every book for like $10.
Oh wow. Nice. Well, I mean that's the beauty of digital, you know. No overhead, you know, it's already done. You can just send it
I'm
out.
not a digital fan. I was surprised on the first How to Die campaign how many people ordered it.
Yeah.
You know, I even kind of made fun of the idea because I named the perk Ma Digitals. People bought it.
You know what? I mean, being able to read stuff on a tablet, like while you're because a book will get wet and you don't want to sweat on it, but like being on an elliptical and being able to read something on a tablet. I currently don't have a tablet that's worth a shit that I can actually read anything on. So I've been reading stuff on my phone, and that's okay. But having like a tablet, being able to read digitally, it's great. Like going on a vacation, taking like an entire library with you so you can read. That's great. When I'm at home, give me my paper books. Give me my floppies. Give me the print. I love the smell of the print. I love the feel of the paper. I love the ink. Like I love it. Hell, I love the staples. So yeah, I'm right there with you. So I totally get it. And these things they're collector's items.
Yeah.
Having the physical copy is part of it. So. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. JP, this has been a blast, man. You got to come hang out when we do a topic list. Monday night I do a show with Jason Bascom, who did Absolute.
Yeah.
And I think this week it's on my channel. But yeah, we hang out. Jason and I do artwork. We have people come hang out, talk, shoot the shit. It's a fun time, man.
I'm down. I'll see if my artist wants to jump in on it.
That would be cool too. Absolutely, man. Guys, the link is in the chat. Go jump on the mailing list for How to Die. And we will talk to you later.